Hello and welcome to teamfortress.tv and what will be the ETF2L Season 30 Division 1 Grand Finals between Fate Gaming EU and Quaint Gaming, aka Crunch Esports, aka Random English Football Player Names, aka etc etc. I am Georgebaii. On the co-caster panel will be DuMmTm, and on production doing the magic will be gemm. So, DuMmTm, potential Prem spot here for next season up for grabs. Who do you think is going to be the better team of these two?
I mean, the obvious choice is Feint. They lost like one map this season, I believe, and that was on Cardinal, so that's a little bit of a wild card, I believe, for most people this season. And word on the street has it that Crunch is not too confident in this game going into it, so we'll see how much they can do here or want to do after a little bit of time and how this will go for them. But yeah, it should still be interesting to see. This was, or it must have been, I believe, Feint's pick here, the first map, Badlands, to just skip right into that. Seeing as yesterday, so like right after the semifinals we are right now, yesterday the semifinal happened for Crunch against Force Kings. And of the two maps they won, none of them was Badlands. That was map 2. They lost pretty convincingly in a 5-0 fashion and still won nonetheless in that semifinal. But Badlands was the sore spot in that series a little bit, so we're starting off with a tough one for them, I would believe.
Yeah, right at the bat, I think Feint had probably read the cards on the side of Quaint Gaming and thought, hey, this team is really weak on this map, this is a good chance to get a good head start into this fixture. But
yeah, that makes it even weirder considering they, like, I don't know who got the bans first. It must have been Feint starting then, I believe, because otherwise I can't imagine them letting come to this.
yeah, I'd imagine so. And like you mentioned earlier, Feint definitely have a much better record in the Division 1. They only lost, I think, one map in Tendril. Although you have to take into account that a team actually drops from their division, so they had to play like 2 games less than the side of Quaint Gaming, or Crunch, if you want to call it. How are we going to determine this, Quaint or Crunch?
I refuse to call them Quaint. That's just another meme for them, so I'm gonna say Crunch, because like every time they switch names, it's just eventually gonna convert back to Crunch Esports in the end.
Alright, we're in agreement. We're calling the vanilla name of Crunch Esports. I think that would distinguish it. So there we go.
It's a Charlie name. It has a Charlie team. It has like 4 Brits on it and a Finn, so it's Crunch.
So yeah, but yeah. Anyway, as I mentioned, Feint much better record than Crunch. One map only lost, but they had a team drop in their division, so 2 games less for them, which probably maybe affected some of their preparation. But I'd imagine they probably filled it up the void with some scrims and such. I'd say Crunch are even probably the more keen team, I'd imagine. I think they've probably been a bit more motivated, maybe, to like get to this stage in Division 1. I guess most people maybe wrote them off in the semi-finals as like maybe 3rd, 4th place, but they made the final itself. And I might want to talk a bit about the build up to this. It's been a bit interesting, like reading some of the maybe watching some of the streams and a bit of the forums.
Yeah, it's been a wild 24 hours in which they kind of flip-flopped back around about how much they want to like take this game serious or not. And they try to take it as serious as they can for as long as they can, I believe. So they see how it goes, they see how much of a chance they have. They are not too confident, but they made it here, so there's potential. Maybe not on Badlands after how it went yesterday, I want to be honest, but after that, I believe they can give us a little bit of a show here. But their opponent is nonetheless Feint Esports, as we mentioned already, and they are the strong favorite here. Team made with LAN in mind, just a bit late with the sign up to not make it to the Prem preseason qualifier thing. And it's a really strong roster. It's like people that have been around a little bit in Div 1 made playoffs before, I believe, plus new additions with Sorix and Ali with previous Prem experience helping out the new players now, so it's a pretty strong roster.
Yeah, and I think this final itself will be a significant step towards their LAN prep for I-63 as well, because, you win this series, you're guaranteed that Prem slot, of course, for the next season, Season 31, if you want to stay together, and you're guaranteed that. So that'll give them a good motivational boost, I think, for the importance that is the I-Series. Like, every team wants to win that, but it might be, you never know, some Americans coming in, but I'm sure the Europeans can, like, put up a good fight anyway.
Yeah, and also worth mentioning for the less initiated in, like, the smaller things in TF2 scene, Seeds is probably a name many are familiar with. Previously on 7, has been cut rather short-term before LAN here and replaced with Starkey, and has found a home back in Feint Gaming here in Div 1, and will also still be going to LAN with them. So that worked out rather fortunately for him there, still able to attend LAN with a high-level team. And for Feint, it also works perfectly. They needed a medic, and they get an upgraded Seed with now Prem experience a little bit behind him, so works out perfectly on that end as well.
Yeah, like despite their form in the regular season, they ran with Torrets initially, but then I think he had a bit of a stint where he was like, maybe I don't want to play this game anymore, so they were lacking a medic in this sense. I think Seeds wanted to step up, Merc for them a bit, and then the stuff happened with Seven, and now he's on their main slot, so it's a really good addition, I think, for the side of Feint Gaming, and it should benefit them definitely in this final. But it's probably worth going down the rosters, I think, maybe. Just give you a good overview of 12 viewers and who's playing for the side of Feint Gaming first, I think. We got to have Kunu and Sorex on Scout, Samsky and Amarok on Soldier, Ali, a bunch of Premier experience from his side on DuMmTm, and Seeds, of course, as mentioned, on the medic role.
Yeah, and on Quaint Esport we have, on the Soldiers we have Charlie and Hugo. Charlie with a little bit of Prem experience, didn't last too long there, but maybe helped him out a little bit. And we have the Scouts, F and Nuthouse, again, another one with a little bit of Prem experience there from last season, I believe. On Demoman we have Lev, and on Medic we have Sprite.
Yeah, and I had to point out, actually, the Finnish Scout combo of F and Nuthouse is actually pretty strong for the side of Quaint Esports. They've been really performing during the season, I think, and like a very key component in their playstyle. Like, Quaint really like to go to that in-your-face, aggressive playstyle, generally get the soldiers in, scouts clean up, do it as fast as possible. So I think this will really benefit them in this case and try and give them as much of a chance in this first map of Badlands, which is going, or Prolands even, which is going to be like an uphill struggle, like you said, losing it 5-0 to a team you beat in the playoffs is kind of a bit detrimental to your motivation, but I'm sure they'll probably try to bounce back in some way, maybe get a few rounds, in fact. But I think most of their effort is probably going to be put into the next map, which is Process, which definitely favours that aggressive playstyle.
Yeah, in the last map, I don't think we mentioned the map picks yet, and I guess we just mentioned 2 of the 3. So last map will be Cardinal. The last Cardinal map I've seen has been like 2 weeks ago, so if this comes to 3 maps, this will be the last Cardinal game of the season, and possibly forever, given the feedback and the fact that Vice PC is a little bit broken at the moment, so, it would be an interesting way to go out.
Yeah, definitely so, and I think this will be, I think Process, the next map, will be very crucial for Crunch's chances in this final. So I think, because both teams actually lost their Cardinal games in the regular season, actually, both Feint and Crunch actually losing both of their regular season games in that respect. So that's sort of the wild card in this fixture. But we're going to go live here. This is the Season 30 ETF2L Div 1 Grand Finals. We got Feint Gaming versus Quaint Esports. I think it's Quaint Gaming still on the stream. So we're going to go into this first vid right now. And I'm going to be looking at Charlie actually for this first vid. See what he's got up his sleeve. Probably going to go for, imagine a decent bomb into the train area, perhaps on the side of Feint Gaming. Going to be starting off this with initial cap advantage right now for the side of Feint Gaming, trying to take that space. Big jump in actually from Hugo, who goes behind the house to try and take the distraction in. First frag's now being exchanged right now. Samsky suddenly with 2 kills off of the flank there onto Af and Nuthouse, so no scouts right now for Quaint Esports. It's just Sprite trying to escape with his life, and Hugo, I think, surviving off of that house area. Sprite juking as much as possible, but eventually killed Binds, and that's a comfortable first mid win for Feint Gaming.
Yeah, really nice aggression with the soldiers from Feint and Soix to clean up there, and Crunch just a little bit too slow with their own soldier aggression. They were bombing early, weren't finding the targets quickly enough, and Siege just kind of slipped through underneath the point area and stays completely healthy and has his Uber charge ready. Sprite just now starting to respawn, will get some buffs, possibly not even all of them, which is just another nice little bonus here on this last push, just not having to work through all the buffs.
Yeah, so default defense on this last bubble right now for the side of Quaint Esports with the Pyro up on the right side. Uber's now in the Feint Gaming, but the Pyro picks up immediately, so they're able to take full reign on that left side and get the gun down as well. So all the space in favour of Feint Gaming onto this left side. A bit of stick is avoiding any sort of push opportunity here, but Samsky in behind gets a nice pick onto Sprite there to get that kill. And none of the rest of the Feint Gaming players surely trying to swarm in and get as much kills as possible. 2 players up currently on the side of Quaint Esports. Kunu getting the cap time. Hugo tries desperately to defend the point, but it's going to be the first round to Feint Gaming EU.
Yeah, just really nice, calm and collected. They're not trying to just rush in with everything they have. Just kind of playing really far back for the most part and not letting anything get behind. Charlie dies incredibly early. They are able to just contest the right side perspective after pushing with the Uber until left and get all the space they wanted slowly but surely.
Looking at Ali for this first rollout, second rollout even, of this fixture right now, so going to be taking a much more stance, immediately trying to block out left and exiting the house area. Now Charlie's going to try and take a deep bomb into his train and try and defend this area there. Both players and Feint actually looking for more of a shithouse bomb right now. Kunu with the first pick onto left, so no DuMmTm for the side of it. Quaint Esports, and there's a snipe pick onto Sprite there. Samsky with a nice direct rocket onto him. So Crunch basically scrambling with extra fags right now, but Nuthouse on 10 HP, making a hasty retreat into his spawn, and another mid win there for Feint Gaming.
Yeah, again, just a matter of these soldier bombs being just noticeably better for Feint and doing so much work. They just get these kills so early every time, and once again it will put them on Crunch on the same situation back on last, having control of this last push coming in, and after how it just looked, Feint have a really comfortable push going here, so it will be tough to hold it off once again.
Yeah, so once again, Crunch Esports forced into the last point, and we have a pause, I think?
Looks like a pause. There's projectiles hovering mid-air, not going anywhere, so seems like a pause to me.
Interesting enough. So at the moment, from what you can see, they're setting up for this last push. I think Feint Gaming probably going to go for a more aggressive last push than they did last time. It seems to be a bit more conservative, waiting for their casualties on mid, I think, to spawn. So probably going to take a much more direct route into this left side, which you saw earlier, actually managing to deny the pyro, which isn't actually present on the side of Crunch Esports. So probably taking a much more passive route with Charlie, perhaps on the backup as well. So if they're able to draw out this last fight, perhaps he could be able to get his banner charge up for the defense buff, but sort of a stretch, really, given the huge uber ad Feint Gaming have right now.
Yeah, he would have to get, I believe it's 600 damage up in time, and I highly doubt Feint is going to give them that time. They're already starting to come to last here with the Scout leading the charge, Kuno with the DuMmTm behind getting the sentry gun for him, just taking all the space slowly one. This time Charlie has a little bit more space behind, drags them back quite far, so they can't just take everything they want for free. They go in demandingly anyway onto the right side. Sorg's doing a lot of trouble and damage, gets Hugo as well at the end of that, 2k for him on this last push, and it's just not quite enough. They're putting up a nice little fight, and Charlie's destruction helped so much with that for Crunch.
Yeah, strange for that last push. Soldiers seem really disconnected from the push there. It seemed to be having more faith into Ali and the scouts generally to do the damage, but it doesn't really seem to happen, and a lot more of the frags went in the way of Crunch Esports, actually. So they're looking to casually push their way outside this second point right now. Probably going to take much more of a trash route, perhaps, trying to get the soldiers up at the point to deny the cap from the side of Feint Gaming, or the deny the cap even. So Charlie going to take position on Spire. The rest of the team followed up, but actually Strike getting forced, actually. I don't know if it was a bomb, actually, from the soldier or DuMmTm even, but he has to pop up that Uber, and now Feint in a good position for this repush, perhaps, as Crunch even get his second point.
Yeah, really unfortunately getting forced. They juggled so far as well, and they still couldn't chase anything as that repush comes in here. They know they have to go back, but still, two people get caught in a crossfire. Everybody else able to escape for now, but the second point has to be abandoned, given up to Feint in the meantime, who still have this Uber ad and surely are looking to keep the tempo up here to get to the last with this Uber ad.
Yeah, so this fighting from Feint Gaming, they've got to be careful not to get too disconnected with their soldiers. We saw that last time, like Amma and Samsky seemed really needed to take a lot of time to get in. So right now, the rest of the team trying to come in on behind right now, and it's Boobas Pops right now, coming in behind, trying to take as much space in the spawn area as possible. Charlie going to get knocked down there, so no soldier hit present on the point. Got a soldier actually in the lampshade of Hugo trying to deny any sort of space here, but a lot of caps are already in favour of Feint Gaming, and suddenly it's just Nethouse alive, and they'll get the second round there.
Both teams being really hesitant to use that, and it almost was really bad for Feint. They took so long to do any of this like really deep play into Lasta, and in the meantime Sprite could just rotate back into spawn all the way to the other side and almost be safe with his team, but one jump just denied all their dreams. There drops the medic and prevents the UA from blocking anything on the point anymore.
Round 3 of this Badlands map. 2-0 currently for Feint Gaming in this first map of the best of 3 series. So I'm going to be looking at Samsky actually for this Nick mid right now. Both soldiers on Crunch actually can say much more train route. They haven't spotted Samsky out actually behind, and he's actually going to get picked onto half of that. And then the pincer from Amarok and Kuno going to get more frags as well. Sorix as well cleaning up. So just a general carnage on the side of that mid, but no frags in favour of Crunch Esports, and Feint Gaming with another mid win, probably looking to cruise into this.
Yeah, again, just really nicely done. One distraction, this is all it takes, and Feint knows exactly how to execute them. Just one solely behind, and then everybody storms forward, Sorgs and Amarok, getting all the cleanup kills after Samsky's initial rocket there, and just completely caught them off guard, getting into last pretty quickly once again here.
Yeah, similar sort of step right now for the side of Crunch Esports. Just the NG on the left side. It's going to be taken down really quickly, actually. Ali getting enough stickies onto that sentry gun to deny any sort of presence from that. Now the rest of the team just trying to take positions on the top left. Actually, Charlie went down on the fight there to Amarok from the crater. So the rest of it is just a spacing game, trying to get as much space as possible. A lot of cap time already from Kunu. Him dropping down the point. So the rest of the Crunch Esports are going to be forced into this more aggressive hold. But Ali starting to get 2 kills of his own here with Sorix to clean up onto Af. Suddenly Nethouse alive in this last point, as it's going to be 3-0 currently to Feint Gaming.
It's strange to see how well Feint dealt with Charlie go behind on the last push, but ever since they kind of just let him slip through, and it cost them so much effort. to recover from just having to deal with a find every time. They're still able to exit properly after that, but just makes it so much closer than just clearly could have been.
Yeah, it hasn't been much fire from Quaint Esports in this map right now. 3-0 currently down already, and it's barely been 10 minutes past actually, so rest of Feint Gaming looking in really good form actually. Charlie trying to do a really good bomb into Seeds, who actually surfs away in the valley, so nice stop of him. It might get cleaned up here by Hugo coming in behind. Both these soldiers from Quaint actually not going to look to get Seeds any space as he looked to commit in. Hugo going to do the committing into the lobby, as I think Seeds is going to escape from that. And actually, while this has happened on mid, there's not enough Feint Gamers actually to think to block this point. We've got Stamsky taking this fight with the scout of Nut House on point. Not going to be able to do enough there. Actually, it's going to be forced back, and the mid win actually in favour of Quaint Esports for once.
Yeah, I think they were surprised by that. Ooh, huge rocket by Hugo catching Samsky mid-air with the cleanup. That was really surprising. I feel like for them as well, they didn't quite know what to prioritize after they got the initial alley pick. They kind of wanted to protect their medic, but they also kind of wanted to chase Seed. In the end, neither of which really happened too much, and Squad did go down, Seed survives. They changed to crits, but Seed has this Uber already, so they have to be careful to not overextend. They're slowly picking off, but more importantly, they're also not forcing Seed, which makes the Uber crit situation just that bit weirder for them.
Feint Gaming, of course, still needs to be cautious with that crits creek up. Not that they have the knowledge prior to that have the crits creek, so they're probably going to be treating it as a normal Uber. And actually, Seeds pops off, I think, to a sticky trap there from the demo man of Left. So forced to pop off that over. So this could be a really good position actually for Quaint Esports. So they managed to get repush sorted and get this crits charge to do a lot of damage. It could be potentially disastrous for Feint Gaming coming into the second point, but it will get the Spire cap, I think, about.
Yeah, and Left dying in this initial push here though is really important. It wastes a little bit of time, can help Feint set up a little bit. I don't know if they are aware of the crits. You can slightly see it if you just really look for it, but you know, if you're not aware of it at all, why would you be looking for it? So it's a really strange situation. The crit is ready, just a matter of hitting shots now.
Pops off right now. A first pick up to Amarok there, so it's going to clear off the cap from the side of Quaint Esports. The rest of the medic, Said's even backing off from choke as well, having none of that crits creep.
So
just the one kill
behind.
from left the back cap as well. Oh, I think he gets denied actually from Hugo, who was hiding in the lampshade. So no back cap there for Sorix, but decent amount of cap time though. So Quaint have to take this into account. 2 players up on their side right now. Sprite trying to take his medic duel, I think, onto Seeds there. Eventually gets mowed up by the Sticky Valley. And really disastrous position right now for Quaint Esports with 2 players up. Some respawns are going to come in though, but there's also a decent amount of cap time right now for Feint Gaming, and Kunu's trying to take advantage of it. Immediately walking on to that point, the Uber's popped out as well for the side of Feint Gaming. Kunu trying to clear off that lampshade soldier, I think, for Hugo, and eventually the cap will come in, and it's 4-0 currently for Feint Gaming on that point.
Yeah, that was really unfortunate for Crunch. They were so aware that a bad cap could happen, but the best they could do about it, unfortunately, was just keep people in the backlines. And while it did deal with the back cap, it just meant that they were lacking the numbers up front, and the Uber wasn't good enough. They were outnumbered quickly afterwards, and it just kind of went bad from there.
Interesting enough from Quaint Esports, Hugo spy to mid.
Left with the sticky jump as well, going really high, finding himself behind to get a good amount of damage, but unfortunately can't beat anybody up with it.
Takes his own life there. Charlie launched behind as well, trying to get onto Seeds. Eventually gets mowed down by the scouts of Kuna and Sorix there. Nice protection from him. It's just a spy, I think, of Hugo that could be a factor into this. Maybe getting a sneaky pick onto Seeds, perhaps. Nuthouse versus 6 players. No chance for him to get onto that. Sprite as well coming in behind. He isn't a spy, but this is a spy right now, trying to get in and actually get onto Seeds. Hugo still gets that med pick, but the mid cap is still in favour of Feint Gaming, and I think they're still in a decent position actually to steal this map.
I don't want to be a negative guy here, but that was sadly enough their second best mid-fight so far, so I don't know what that says about their Badlands, but it's not too great. They're still looking to get on the last early Feint. Obviously won't have to do a chart, and Charlie on Spy as well, trying to repeat the success from the mid-fight that they had before.
I was just watching Left there having a little journey into the second spawn for Feint Gaming, and eventually gets killed off by Sorix. Another pick for Charlie with the spy onto Ali. No Deberman now, and they still haven't noticed him. He's still cloaked in this corner. If Seeds were to walk in now, he could get another kill in. They're trying to come in, and Amarok still gets that spy there. And the heavy with the other spawn as well. Crunch is throwing everything out of the pram right now, trying to do anything they can to get back into this, I think, with the off classes. And the total at the point, I think they're just accepting the fate, but Af is having none of it. He wants to try and get his team back into this right now, but no players on point, and it's just going to be a clean cat for Kudu. 5-0 to Feint Gaming with that first map in the series.
If they threw just a little bit less, I genuinely believe they would have created enough chaos that Feint had no idea what to do against it. He was so surprised by both of these spies and just couldn't do anything about it.
So yeah, Feint Gaming getting the first map in this series on Pronans, 5-0, so mirror image essentially of that Foreskins game that Crunch had. No rounds.
I want to quote Charlie from SDV chat as well, just saying, now we play a human map.
So process, yeah. So definitely they're favouring process. Like I said
Second
earlier,
treatment for them,
Crunch are probably looking to try and maybe like just have a little fun on this map. They didn't really want to commit to trying to get this first map here and just trying to throw all their toys in the pram for the process map, which is definitely more favourable to their playstyle here. But probably worth looking at these logs actually if we're able to get them.
Yeah, I mean, it was a quick 5-0, so it's not going to be like the huge surprises we're going to get out of this, but more a bit of confirmation of who did well and stuff like that. But that's still interesting to see every once in a while.
Yeah, so no one from Crunch actually reaching double digits. Actually, the highest fragger from Crunch was Charlie and Af tying, Hugo and Af even tying on 5 frags apiece. Ouch! And then the top fragger was Sorix with 18.
So just did so much on these mid fights every time. Just everything that he did die in front of him just got melted really, really quickly. It was really nice to see, and this Soldiers as well, just with really nice setup work for the rest of the team on these mid fights.
Yeah, so definitely a favour for Feint Gaming there. A lot of players getting a bunch of frags, and Crunch really didn't look in any sort of contention to try and take anything from this map even. I think they just really, really wanted to put this effort into process right now, which, as Charlie mentioned in the SDB, is a quote mark human map, so definitely going to favour their sort of style of play with that aggression they are known for.
Yeah, let's see if they can pull it off. So far we hadn't had to see too much defensive play out of Feint, and I would look forward to that. Both because I'm casting LAN and I'm expecting to see them there a little bit, so it's just interesting to see how they would be doing it. But also in general, just to see what Crunch has in store for us. We only had this one somewhat successful bid fight, and they were still like kind of too surprised by killing Ali in the first place that they couldn't like do the chases properly they wanted to, nor could they protect the medic the way they wanted to. Everything was just scattered after that, trying to just kill anything. And seeing a bit more success after that would be interesting.
And what do you think the mindset for Feint Gaming is right now, coming into this process map? Because we saw definitely in ProLands that they were the better team. They were managed to outfrag Crunch. They were able to like outplay them. They got 5-0'd as well. But like this is, I mean, the mystique around Charlie with these STV stuff and saying, you know, that this is more of our favourite map essentially. You think Feint are going to take a much more cautious approach, perhaps initially into this first map, into the second map, or are they just going to go guns blazing like we saw the first map?
I think they are not going to think too much about it. They're just going to see what happened, and it went well so far. So they're probably just going to continue trying to do what they are best at and just try to beat them like they did last time. And it's really up on Crunch to surprise them here and just get a quick lead maybe with it if they can.
Yeah, definitely so. So just joining us, actually, this is the Division 1 Grand Finals for Season 30 of ETF2L. This is Feint Gaming versus Quaint Gaming, aka Crunch Esports, as we've been referring them to. We're on process right now. We just saw Feint Gaming get a decent 5-0 roll onto Crunch Esports in the first map of ProLands, so they're in a decent position, actually, to take the series in general and seal themselves the championship and the guaranteed prem slot into Season 31 as well. So all to play for here, essentially. Crunch definitely didn't look the favourites in ProLands, so probably definitely trying to do a lot more on this match, which definitely favours their playstyle according to some of their team members.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and you know, if it comes to a closer map, maybe we'll get some sniper action as well. I remember in the Centrals Cup a while back, maybe a month or so ago, where you told me that the Kuno is in fact a Highlander sniper. I didn't know that at the time, so I was interested to learn about that, and then he subsequently showed us that he is indeed a good sniper on that game against, I believe it was Swift in that cup, and he kind of destroyed them a little bit. He didn't end up winning, but he did individually really, really well. So if this ends up being a close map, maybe we'll see a little bit more stalemate action and how that would play out for Feint.
Yeah, Kunu, definitely a monster in that sniper class. So something that Feint could be looking to use as well. If things don't go their way initially in this map, if they're going to try and maybe the same way as ProLands, or maybe a bit more aggressive perhaps, Kunu can definitely deliver the goods on that sniper, and I think I lost my voice, remember, from that game as well, particular game in the Essentials Cup. Like, Kunu was just hitting absolutely everything onto the side of Swift Gaming. So to bring that out, I think it could be somewhat hit to the motivation to try and get back into this game, I think.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see. We're just waiting for the last gamer to arrive. That is Hugo connecting now. So it's just a little bit of a matter of time here, and I'm optimistic that not Feint, Crunch is going to take a few more minutes here to just... Oh, never mind. I was about to say just take a minute here to think about what they want to do for the first mid and see how they can play their favorite map here.
Yeah, no games right now in live. Just saw Sprite saying make it quick, so probably just keeping that allure of the crunch, esports throw perhaps. But anyway, going into this first mid, Ali's going to be much faster actually than Left, I think, taking the Cadus rollout onto there. Left taking a much more aggressive position onto the right side, trying to get some more stickies in. Now the rest of Crunch are going to start flooding in, try and take up positions. We've got Charlie, really big bomb onto the left side, trying to get onto the side of Feint Gaming. Seeds actually launched off into choke there with a decent surf, but 3 frags already in favour of Feint Gaming off of that melee, and they've been looking to try and get the advantage of this. Ali going down to that house there, so just some constellation, but Medic's still alive right now. 2 players up already in the spawn, and a comfortable win there for Feint Gaming.
Really unfortunate that they lost so many people so early. They got so much good damage. Left dying just a little bit too quickly, and the scouts being so far back, having to deny stuff as well, didn't allow them to clean up off of this really great solid damage. And that's just the end of that mid fight, unfortunately. But on the positive side, Sprite stayed alive, has his U already, so it won't be a complete road into last, as now Feint has to, for the first time, work their way into last here.
Yeah, process loss definitely takes a lot more consideration to try and push into. There's definitely a lot of ways you could do it, but it's all about the early picks, really. I think that the initial first pick is the snowball effect that you need to try and secure the last cap. But as you said, Uber's on both teams right now, so probably looking to try and get that first pick to get infinite space for them to try and commit to some sort of push. Feint right now taking a really passive position actually, so probably waiting to try and get their gamers into some sort of push perhaps. They've got Kuno going in really deep, but Sentry's trying to deny him. He's still actually dream really deep. Crunch hasn't noticed him. Eventually Hugo's going to notice him and get the rocket onto him. It could be a Q though perhaps for Kuno to do that magic sniper onto this last point.
I'd be surprised if it isn't. That's such...
Oh my god. Oh,
big jump by Charlie, not enough though.
God,
but yeah,
destroyed.
like I was about to say,
I think it's like 2 air shots onto him as well, so he got jumped around. So Charlie definitely doing the intended sack there. So right now, Feint actually bringing out Kuno Sniper. This is going to be interesting. Actually, he's probably going to be looking to try and work him in and try and get that first pick, which is so crucial for this push.
Yeah, like I wanted to say, if you win as a scout until last point like that, it's fairly obvious that you want to go sniper. So them using the opportunity with one less scout is as good as you can get without having to work for it too much. You also need to be aware that afterwards there will be a sniper on the other end. You need to be careful and not let him get away with too much, especially not a sniper of this caliber.
Yeah, I think Crunch are actually aware that Kudu Sniper, they know what damage he can do, so not taking the aggressive sight lines actually into these flank holds. Now going to peek into a rollout. He's going to be really deep actually. Could he get a line sprite? No, he can't. The Soldier's going to eventually free him off, and I think just Feint are going to be looking to try and work him in as much as possible and try and get some space in. Maybe perhaps switch to a spy if they want to try and get some sort of pick on 2 seeds if they need to. But now Kuno trying to take more space to the right side, another peek. And it's just a general peeking game right now for the side of Feint Gaming. Actually really deep. Oh, if he hit that shot onto Sprite, I would have lost my shit. But anyway, that's going to be Kuno down, so no sniper for the side of Feint Gaming. And the pick advantage actually in favour of Crunch, despite the engineer on the last point. So it could queue up maybe some soldier aggression perhaps on the side of Crunch Esports. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, they have a banner in the building stages as well there with Charlie on the battalion's backup once again, this time getting a little bit more of an opportunity to actually get it up and ready, so we'll see if they have any ideas what they want to be using it for as well. And I'm surprised it has taken them this long to get the spy out on the field, given how much success it has in this really short amount of time on Badlands. And this time it's Hugo, so they're just all rotating who's going to play spy when. He's looking for an opportunity, and Kuno dying once again, this time to pipes, forcing everybody back a little bit and pushing them just further and further back into Hugo's range.
So he's going to look into Seeds first. I just spotted him there, trying to butt a knife as well onto Seeds, just getting the gun out. And he dropped!
He dropped it!
The Latronde dropped onto Seeds! How? Is this process as well? I think we saw this before from Seeds as well. It's a classic.
Maybe Cadus was right all along.
My word. So Seeds dropping the Zuba there, surely going to cue some sort of aggression here for Crunch Esports. They've got Charlie trying to work his way in through lower lobby, as well as Nuthouse on this flank here. But I think the Kuno Sniper is still there. And here a banner as well coming out from the side of Crunch Esports with the battalions back up onto this. So defense buff currently active for the side of Crunch. So they look to try and stack onto this Spire. A lot of players already on it. And actually a deep bomb in from Zamsky eventually trying to get onto Hugo. But I think the second cap will still be in favour of Crunch Esports.
Really unfortunate that they still had to use for this. Sprite had this defense resistance, he didn't take that much damage unfortunately from stuff that should have done so much more, but eventually they overextend for their efforts. The Icona gets a snipe, Soldier dies on the middle point as well. That was Charlie, and now there's a counter push straight back into the second point. Without numbers on Crunch, they really can't afford to stay here much longer. Nuthouse the only one being left on second all alone. Second will go back in control of Feint Gaming.
So yeah, suddenly in favour of Feint Gaming once again after that immediate recap map had to be said. Crossed a lot of players into that fight there. I think Left got sniped off by Kunu. So, whoops, once again in this situation, just trying to get that opening pick to open the space up. You've got respawns coming in currently for Grunge Esports. And the headshot on this, Kunu just peeks in on the right side and gets that slim picking onto Sprite there. No medic for the side of Grunge, and actually Kunu goes to go down there. We're surely going to cure some aggression off the side of Feint Gaming. They have full Uber charge ready, but actually taking a much more passive route here.
Yeah, taking their time. They definitely don't want to risk this with just 5. They're waiting for Kuno to be a little bit closer to spawning. In the meantime, Nuthouse is just super aggressive, getting so much damage out onto the combo, forcing them probably much earlier than they wanted to. They still have to commit with this to see if they can do anything with this. And Sprite just surfs straight in front of Ali, dodging for his life while his team just speeds up for him. 2 down each is kind of decent for their teams, but eventually cleaned up. But it's just 2 damage classes left on Feint here.
Yeah, Engineer goes down. I think Charlie had to go to respawn to get some ammo and health as well. He's going to jump into Ali, nearly getting the kill onto him, but Amarok's going to get thrown out. And suddenly Nuthouse, 3 kills at the cleanup there. He gets 3 people off of that, including Seeds. My God, Nuthouse, that was such a mega cleanup. And now he's going to try and get his second point too.
Maybe not quite too successful with that, but that was really big by him and Charlie. Had huge damage with this initial bomb and then just super quick cleanup to just crush Feint's dreams. And for what it's worth, for what we've been promised so far, definitely much closer of a game here. They're just not letting them into last, like, all too successfully so far.
Yeah, Left gets picked off there by Sorix actually trying to retreat, so good opening actually for Feint Gaming to try and take some space onto this right side, which they're looking to do. No Uber on both sides actually at the moment, so probably just looking for a complete dry post, trying to put faith in their DMs and secure this, and actually App is going to go down first. Now it's in behind getting the pick to Amarok and now trying to scatter away on point. A lot of cat time actually in favour of Feint Gaming. They've got to be careful with this, Grunge. They don't want to lose this round right now. Low HP on both players, and Samsky's going to try and come into clean the whistle, and first round there for Feint Gaming.
Yeah, really close fight in the end again, just barely out-DMing them, and that's what these last pushes have been like resorting to for Feint right now. They need just this slight edge, eventually able to fight it out here, and it's really close on these last pushes, but Feint push it to second was just not good enough to really stabilize them there, unfortunately, so just allowed more and more opportunities to come their way on last.
Yeah, so that round lasted about 8 minutes in total, I think. We're going to go into this next bit. So Grunge now on the back seat right now. This is their preferred map, and already a round down to the side of Feint Gaming. So probably looking to try and make reparations into this mid. Samsky getting the first bit of the Charlie though, so no soldier at the X for Grunge Esports to try and come in. And suddenly the scout's starting to do work for the side of Feint Gaming. 2 picks, clean picks onto the left and Hugo, and it's going to force out a Grunge retreat and surely the mid cap for Feint Gaming.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate that every time they go this deep and deal this much damage, it's just coming off the back of them also dying for them, just having slightly worse numbers at the end of it, standing left on the midpoint. Feint able to take it from there ever so slightly with just this one player at a slightly better position, able to take second pretty quickly as well. Samsky just on off classes right now. Nope, he's just in spawn, waiting to hold spawn. Does indeed hold spy though, yeah. He was on like spy, then snipe, then spy again, just to help through forward spawns.
Yeah, probably easy way to switch, I guess. You can switch classes or change your weapon loadout, which he binds, but he's going to opt for that. And now looking to commit the spy into this second point, but actually bumps into Sprite. That's probably going to get the call out for Grunge, and eventually it's going to get picked off by Left. Of all the times to walk that direction, Sprite was there at the same time, so no spy right now for the side of Feint Gaming, but Charlie actually get picked off as well from the stickies from Ali, so even Stevens in terms of numbers right now, basically I think Feint looking to try and maybe work some sort of cheeky picks onto the flank, maybe an over-aggressive Grunge player could come in, but probably just waiting for respawns. We've got Kunu once again on the sniper as well, so Feint Gaming definitely preparing the slow sniper push method for last point on process.
And given how this has been going so far, if this was a Highlander game, I would strongly believe that Quaint would be winning this given the difference in spy quality gameplay we had here so far. But to make up for it, they do have another good off-class here, at least on the Kuno sniper. Has been hitting some stuff before, will be going for the stalemate sniper once again. Let's see if he can make it work. Last time, sure got some shots off, but didn't lend itself to a successful push. Eventually just devolved into this weird fight at the end there. And see if it works. He takes so much damage so early though.
Yeah, I think Kunu probably not respecting the damage output actually for the side of Crunch. He was able to deny him considerably well, apart from the one time he managed to sneak into the right side of the open flank. So actually decent denial right now for Crunch Esports. So got to be careful not to get too zealous in these sightlines. Charlie playing with fire as it were. They're eventually going to back off there. Left sort of doing the same, trying to stay around that ramp area on the side of lobby. So right now Feint Gaming trying to work Kunu in, get that pick. They really need to try and open up the space, while the rest of Crunch basically look for an opening of themselves. Maybe an aggressive Feint Gaming player or Stamsky perhaps coming into one.
yeah, he's trying to abuse the fact that everybody's spamming the sniper so heavily, which credit to Crunch that they're not letting him get too many shots, like keeping him in check really well. Samsky trying his best to just abuse the opening in the meantime. Can't really get too much out of that, so.
Yeah, he doesn't want anything on that soldier as well. Could probably go for a sick headshot there, but not taking the risk. He wants to keep his life. And I think Crunch will probably be considering maybe going for another spy like we saw earlier with Hugo. Managed to get that ridiculous drop onto seeds, it had to be said. So probably just trying to buy their time. Maybe work Charlie in the flank to try and make a sneaky bomb onto seeds perhaps. He's going to peek into one, probably not any other information than that, so going to force him to back off. And once again, just basically a very slow game on this left side, trying to find any sort of opening essentially on both teams. And I'm sure Crunch are going to consider that spy very soon.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully Quaint is counting the numbers in front of them well enough here so they don't get surprised again. They do have a lot of time to just like see who's on the field, if they're like what classes they're missing, which currently is just the scout, so from the standard lineup anyway, so you know, there's ways to not get surprised by a spy, and so far they're just busy trying to deal with everything in front of them aggressively instead, which eventually is just Charlie going really aggressive, wanting to actually get a kill off of this just heavy spam damage, and while people are weak, Samsky even on like 10 HP there outside second, just not enough unfortunately, and with one down now it's going to be even harder to spam them out.
Yeah, probably just a lack of patience there from Charlie. Really zealous trying to come into lobby and try and get something done, but not enough follow-up from his team to compensate for that. So just looking to reset once again, gets reset up. So once again, 6 players on both sides. Kunu trying to work his way on the left side, doesn't quite hit the shot onto Hugo, transitioning to spawn again. And just really even defense. It has to be said, actually, Crunch are really holding this decently. It has to be said, able to punish the sniper sight lines, able to get enough denial on any Samsky bombs on the right side. It's just really really good strong hold up currently, but just got to try and maybe consider some aggression into the later time perhaps. Hello. Right, I'll just take over quickly. I don't know if Dum's still here. Anyway, Crunch once again just trying to find any sort of opening. Kunu sniping on the right side, trying to get some sight line perhaps on the sprite again, like we saw earlier, able to get a sick headshot onto him. And now Charlie actually really aggressive on the right, actually picking off Kunu, so no sniper, which seems to be crucial actually for that push for the side of Feint Gaming. It might prompt some sort of retreat. We've got both soldiers on second, taking a much more better position, with Ali looking at stickies across the lobby. Rest of Crunch now moving in. We've got Sprite and Left trying to make waves into this lobby area. The rest of the flank maybe trying to make space. And Hugo Spy once again. We saw this little bit already. He's got to be careful not to bump into Sansky on the way out here, or like some sort of insane blind debt, I'm sure, maybe from Hugo perhaps, but or like Ali even. But he's going to walk out now, eventually try and work his way behind into Seeds. And the rest of Crunch got to be careful not to be overzealous here while Hugo's behind, because if he loses another player, he's essentially got 4 on last. But Kunu first snipe onto Charlie there, so now it's definitely less players than they imagine now. 4 players currently on the defense on the side of Crunch Esports. Hugo in behind, I think he gets spots out as well. Damage onto him. He's taking his fight with Sorix and eventually getting picked off there. 2 kills now for the side of Feint Gaming, and 3 up actually on the side of Crunch, so really dire situation. I think Feint probably being a bit more conservative, waiting for their heals before committing to this right side push into here. So Kunu once again trying to scope in.
Hey, hello, I have returned.
Hey, there you go. Okay, you can take over for a bit, because I had to go for the void.
Well, where are we at? It's still 1-0, so I didn't miss anything score-wise. Just at the last point, something aggressively into last year. Amarov tries his best after the NG died. Unsuccessfully so some more tries. Unsuccessfully so on either side, I would imagine. Connor still sniping. And I attempt to put some pressure onto the second point as my game crashes, as it tends to after I reconnect.
Oh dear, oh, I'm going to go solo again, so here we go stream.
Should be shorter this time.
Yeah, Crunch Esports currently just really taking their time here. They've got to be careful not to be too patient, because we're about halfway into this map already, so 15 minutes left. Feint already have a round advantage, and they're already on their last, so it's really bad position for Crunch right now if they're looking to try and come back into this game. They're going to try and maybe get some sort of damage on the Samsky. He's going to back off and get the health packs. And all Feint Gaming's plan currently is just get Kunu in, but he hasn't really been delivering as much as I thought he would. He got the 1 pick of the sprite earlier for sure, but since then he's been a bit quiet actually, not managing to get much more kills here. And Hugo once again on Spy trying to come in behind and just like maybe get another siege drop perhaps. Surely not, there's like 6 gamers there, and he's nearly bumping into scouts as well, so got to be really, really patient, but got to be not too conservative in case Crunch lose another player off the flank perhaps.
Yeah, once again back at this lobby stalemate. Kunus trying his best. Spy comes up as well, behind line, just patiently waiting. They don't let too much happen up in the hold floor. Sprite getting forced by all this damage though out of nowhere. This is so unfortunate for them. Hugo has to deliver quickly now, otherwise it's looking really, really dire. And they were holding so well until now. But this force might just be the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, Crunch didn't even know that Hugo was on Spy. There was like a moment where he decloaked, and as soon as he did, Amarok turned around instantly. So maybe got that special special software perhaps, or just the sensors, like definitely triggered there. So right now, Feint Gaming just set once again on the second point. It must be so frustrating for Crunch as well, because it's given a good chunk of time trying to find the opening here. Nothing's working as such. They've got Charlie even eventually getting to pick up the Samsky, so could provide some sort of opening. But another reply immediately from Feint Gaming as the Uber comes in. Gun low HP, eventually gets picked off there by Ali. And gotta be really quick to acclimate to this. So I think Charlie's got to look to get in this fight really quickly. And actually, he'll bunch up in the rollout. It's gonna be disaster. 3 or 4 kills in that rollout.
Yeah, he got a 3K just from behind, killing absolutely everything. They just didn't care that he was behind, and he punished it so greatly. And I mentioned on Badlands already that they just let him get away behind on the last push too much. And it finally pays off for Crunch.
Oh, just beautiful timing there for Charlie. I have to admit, I've given him some flack maybe for his aggression, but it's really paid off there. 3 kills off of 1 rocket and taking his own life as well. And now the bid cap really in favour of Crunch Esports as well. We've got Samsky coming in deep and trying to deny, but it actually gets picked up. And Amarok down as well. Both soldiers down right now for Feint Gaming, but Crunch got to be careful not to get too overzealous. There's a point to cap still people, and they're going to look for a much more aggressive first sewer push actually. Coming on this left side, we've got Hugo, Charlie even jumping in, trying to get some sort of space under the seats. He gets juggled up there with the rocket, and suddenly we're ended up in Feint Gaming's last.
Yeah, that was a really quick turnaround, and now it's their chance. They barely have any, but it's probably not enough to try and make this push happen unless they get a really good exchange and force seeds early, but they pop early themselves. It's gonna be dire. Not even able to catch the sniper, not a DuMmTm, and spawn seeds with Quaint with his own Uber.
Yeah.
Left to die here. Everybody else seeing themselves out, and Charlie staying back.
He's in panic, yeah. He's going to be looking to come behind. Probably going to force the stickies off. There's no stickies on point. There's no players as well. Please. There's going to be a cap, surely. There's going to try and chase him down and get him about the cap. The rocket, the direct denying any sort of position onto last. And Crunch have tied it up 1-1 with 12.5 minutes left to play.
Charlie just carried this round single-handedly so much. They admittedly together did it really well to get him there in the first place, and not have too many losses. They lost 1 player who basically just baited everybody to keep on pushing, while everybody else was already really far back. So well done overall, and Charlie was just doing so well that round.
Yeah, a bit awkward there from Skamsky. He tried to steal the man's pack, but just about missed it by a pixel. So right now into this next bit fight, Charlie once again immediately onto seeds. Charlie is turning up on this process map. He wants to take this team to a 3rd map, and I think we got a game on our hands, people.
Yeah, really aggressive start to just get to the map incredibly early. Get decent numbers. They kinda are not in the too favorable fight in the long run here, but speaking of the long run, maybe it will be turning out well eventually. The longer they wait, the better the situation gets.
Samsky's in, onto Sprite, trying to get in. Oh, not enough though. I think knocked down to lower HP on Sprite, about 40 there. Still surviving. Huge Uber ride as well for the Crunch Esports, but Feint Gaming actually got a mid cap, so it's going to buy them some time to set up some sort of second defense. We've got Amarok jumping in really late, trying to get onto that house and deny this, and actually prompting a repush here from Feint Gaming, just the Uber ride on the side of Crunch. So they really want that Uber force, I think, but it's not going to help them in the Crunch. Surely going to secure this mid cap.
Yeah, Feint just almost taking too many liberties there, just really aggressive really early on. Amarok as well, really far forward by the Uber situation. Not even trying to just properly jump there, just really close to choke in general. Getting punished for it eventually. Samsky as well, still trying to make a flank play happen in the 2v1, able to at least trade out the kill there.
Charlie's so deep, going to come into last one, immediately onto Seeds, trying to get the rockets in. Seeds and so slow HP. The second cap as well coming up for Crunch here, as they're in really good position actually to try and get this last point. And bed down as well on the side of Feint Gaming. This is a good chance actually to get this round, but now Ali trying to turn up with 2 pipes, quick pipe kills, another to scout on the house, but no contention, and suddenly Crunch take the lead.
Yeah, once again, Charlie unfortunately didn't get any kills there, but it didn't matter in the end. Everybody was so weak after that bomb that they just were too scared to test point directly, wanted to get help except Ali, but he was just way too weak to do that against these 2 people playing the point, and really well done by Crunch once again here.
Yeah, he definitely wants more points in Div 1. He's using that using more than his W key, and he's definitely proving himself right now, Charlie. Coming into the next bit, Crunch now, and amazingly the lead with 10 minutes left, so we're in a really decent position to get back into this best of 3. We've got Charlie taking a much more passive position on the right side. He's going to jump in right now. Such height from him, trying to come in. Immediately gets the pickle to Ali. Again, lovely stuff from him to essentially do to that bomb, and Charlie going to try and follow up onto Seeds. Another pick onto Kunu. He's going to take the solo fight here with Sorix trying to come up onto this big, but eventually the pistol enough to clear him off. But 2 players up right now for Quaint Gaming. They've got to surely try and look for that sprite kill, but I don't think it's going to be enough, and they'll be forcing the retreat as Crunch get this another mid cap.
This is only a question of the mid fights. It's just working out for them now. They just clicked after the first mid fight and after Badlands admittedly as well, and they just have the damage they need, the coordination they want on these mid fights. It just works so well now. They get this Uber advantage, and sure, maybe not this time getting the second point for free, but they still are on track to get the second in some way early and quickly here.
Samsky actually getting that force as well, so lovely stuff left from Samsky with that bomb. Left eventually going to get the pipe onto him, but no Uber for the side of Cron Esports into this last point. It's surely going to be looking to try and get this second cap. Sprite caught a little bit out of position, eventually going to cut it off there, and suddenly 3 kills off the bat there. Ali gets a pipe, Amarok a rocket, and suddenly just free up on the side of Cron Esports.
Yeah, maybe wanting a little bit too much out of this unfortunately forced Uber there, and paying quite a bit for Charlie. Wants to make something happen. Seeds really careful, the scouts protecting him. One of them has to pay with his life, but that's affordable, seeing as Crunch is lacking a lot of numbers themselves. The second point will be going the way of Quaint Gaming. They still have to overcharge for mid, but we just saw how it can go if you want too much out of one like that, so they need to be careful here.
Yeah, Crunch needs to be a bit more conservative and not get too over-aggressive with their pushes right now. Steve traps out on the right side. Eventually Hugo can try and sneak a deep bomb into choke, so probably trying to buy some sort of distraction. Actually, Samsky's going to go back right now. Charlie suddenly in again, a nice rocket onto Seeds, and not enough to kill him. Hugo on the follow-up now, trying to follow up, and it's actually the Uber force there. Nicely popped there for Seeds to keep his life, but no Uber charge right now for the side of Quaint Gaming as they get this mid-cap once again with 8 minutes left, and Crunch still in the lead.
Yeah, that was really nicely done stuff for the force. Just Hugo with the fake first, Charlie with the actual one, and then from behind the actual jump again from Hugo to get the force one. And now a huge counter Uber after Natos doing so much damage. The scout just cleaning up. Charlie would have to pay with his life, but that's the only casualty so far. People in PC trying to cause some bit of trouble here, but so far not really working out for them too well.
Yeah, Quaint just got immediately pounced on that choke point there. Suddenly a lot of players down. Ali as well getting cleaned up very late actually in that fight. So now Amarok trying to make the most of it, trying to come in, trying to get on the Sprite as well, but not enough there. Left getting the kill onto him with the splash damage off his body perhaps. But now mid-cap once again in Cron G-Sports' favour. So definitely will have all the inner workings to try and get this map and secure the third map decider on Cardinal if they're able to do well enough as they're going to get the second cap as well.
Yeah, this map is the day to what was Badlands night for them, and it really shows. Just everybody gets so much more to say about how this map goes. They have so much more freedom, and Quaint just has so much less to respond with on this map. It's such a difference for them as well. They are just really completely stunned by how much improved this team is on this map, and makes such a big difference. Now stuck on last here. This could be a crucial time of the clock here if it comes to it eventually.
Yeah, 3 off classes even currently for Quaint Gaming, so definitely trying to utilise all of the gimmicks right now. A lot bunched up in panic actually, with I think Charlie trying to take most of the space there, Hugo trying to jump in as well, but denied by the minigun of Sorix. But now cap time coming in, Slickies are forced off the point from Ali, and now the rest of the team trying to collapse in, but suddenly the frags all in favour of Quaint Gaming, and actually it's quite even, but eventually I think Cron Esports are forced out from that last push.
And they played really nicely though for what the situation was. They saw it wasn't successful, so let's just go in, get the kill we want, get Seeds, get Strike out, and they kept the numbers even in the meantime as well for what wasn't too successful of a push to at least continue on going forward anymore, and just minimized their losses and made themselves get another Uber ad here to just really comfortably try again in just a few seconds.
Yeah, interesting enough, we've got Samsky currently on Sniper right now, rather than usual Kunu, so probably Samsky trying to try his luck on the Sniper class as Kunu has been hit and miss, it has to be said. He got one pick on the Sprite, I remember, from that last push, but hasn't seen much from him after that. So now Cron Esports with this Uber ad going to be moving into lobby. We've got Ali setting up a secret trap to try and deny any sort of space, and a sight line as well, called by Sprite, surely going to buy some time, perhaps. But now committing this Uber in, immediately onto the right side, Gun immediately goes down there to left, but Sticky's still on the point, so no point contention as of yet. Now they're going to start collapsing in, Quaint Gaming, a lot of the damage already in, and this Supercharge as well going to deny any sort of space right now for Cron Esports. Af having to surface his way out there, left getting picked there as well, and suddenly 3 players up. Charlie with a late bomb and actually gets a kill onto Kunu, but not enough to clear off the point there. It's very close cap time, so it might be a much more passive for the side of Crunch Esports. Alf is actually in late on the left side as well, but not enough, I think, to warrant some sort of push in.
Really unfortunately time for both of these lane plays. Absolutely getting early, not seeds unfortunately, but really unfortunate for Charlie as well, and to just have slightly mistime it before anybody steps off the point at all. Would have just needed even half of them to get to the point, but they're able to block the second point successfully for now. They have Uber this edge, so they need to be careful here, but for now they can afford to stay here a little bit and still pressure this backup potentially some more.
Yeah, very tentative position right now for Quaint Gaming. They have a bunch of last point cap time already in favour of Crunch, so if they go into the next fight and don't manage to deny the point enough, Crunch could come away with the third round here. So right now, just setting up their plays. They've got a big Uber ad on the side of Quaint Gaming, so Sprite has probably called out his team, hence why they're taking this much more passive position in the choke area, as Quaint Gaming to try and make the space into lobby, probably going for a full second push here, maybe try and launch Ali in with the sticks, as they do right now. Uber then trying to get immediately on Sprite, and actually gets a sticky onto him. Lovely stuff from Ali there with that bomb, just proving crucial and picking off that Sprite medic, but the back cap!
That's exactly
on the point.
What they needed there. Just they knew the situation. They're gonna push, so let's just put everything on the same flank play and overwhelm everything in a way. They just kill Samsky in a matter of seconds with those 3 people behind and just did the right thing there, in my opinion. Just really nicely, just outsmarted them a little bit.
Oh, that's got to be so annoying for Quaint Gaming right now. Like, you had the Ali bomb in, immediately getting Sprite, they had all the momentum going into that midpoint, and then suddenly there's ×3 on your last point, and you can't defend it at all. And suddenly Crunch are 2 rounds up in this very crucial map, actually. 4 minutes left, so Crunch in the best position possible to try and take it to a third map in this Div 1 final.
The bombs are in again, but this time Quaint is playing so much more careful around them and then just not getting as much mileage out of them as they did the last few times. Quaint have learned their lesson, not let the jumps get any space at all, and just walk back to choke and just deny them completely. Natos wanting to follow up of what at that point was not much, get clean up with 7 well ammo. The only casualty for Quaint, they're taking mid. They're already on second, setting up there for what will be the last push that could be really decisive here. They only have 3 minutes for 2 rounds.
Yeah, sort of like a shooting range there, essentially, for Quaint Gaming, just waiting for those bombs to come in from Crunch, as we saw before, and just generally catching out their aggression. So, decent stuff from Quaint Gaming to try and counteract that, but Samsky dying to a late bomb there. Could be tempted to maybe switch to Cypher, because given Kunu not really been hitting the shots either, so probably trying to try and work him in. As we've seen a lot from Quaint Gaming, they like to work these sniper pushes in on process, but actually he's going to be substituting on Soldier anyway, so just vanilla classes for the side of Quaint Gaming. We're 2 rounds down, we're currently 3 minutes left on this fixture, and now Overcharge is going to be popped off onto Ali, flashed into Kunu as well, and generally just exchanging it into this one area. Not enough advantage for Quaint Gaming to take it into any further. So just costing even more time to try and get this comeback to happen. Probably going to have to rely on some sort of dry push for happening this round, and then relate the momentum into the later round. So into the right side, dry push coming in. Sentry goes down, Charlie goes down as well. So no Soldier from him, given how well he's been doing. Now the late bombs in from Crunch, trying to left, getting the pick on the Sorix there. Just general carnage on this left side, trying to take as much space as possible. Nuthouse taking his own fight. So generally, en masse, Quaint Gaming players coming in. 2 kills from Sansky suddenly with the rockets there, and they're going to surely kill this last round. Set Sprite, trying to defend it, and not enough. And now it's 3-2 in favour of Crunch still, with 2 minutes left to play.
Yeah, it's really surprising how much they struggled with this stalemate that they twice in a row now just resorted to having them fight non-Uber DM fights that they are eventually able to win. So they are really not, it seems, big fans of Process Nasty so far on Quaint, but they somehow make it work, and this is where it all comes down to now.
Yeah, final 2 minutes of the game, all to play for. Crunch still with the lead, and like Quaint with the ability to probably take it to a golden cap if they want to try and get that third deciding round in. So Crunch definitely taking a much more passive rhythm this time. We saw the Soldier aggression earlier from Hugo and Charlie. Actually going to come in right now, double bombing once again. I'm trying to get onto Seeds immediately, but there's huge surf from Seeds coming in. Eventually Charlie going to try and follow up here, gets the pick onto him. That's crucial for this fight. But 4 players up right now for the side of Crunch Esports, taking their own fights in, and eventually going to back up to second as well as Quaint gets this crucial mid cap. So probably looking to park the bus and last and try and take the risk of securing the round for themselves. But a minute left to play is definitely doable for the side of Quaint Gaming right now.
Yeah, it's the do or die situation that was individually speaking insane. Just chased by Charlie into this insane surf by Seeps as well, trying to just dodge the initial bombs. But eventually it works out better for Crunch, playing it safe with their own medic. And Quaint's aggression on this map's mids is just so much just set back and just more careful than on the Badlands, but is just much less just pressuring Sprite.
Yeah, but the most important thing to note here is that Feint don't have an overcharge currently ready, but actually getting the force onto Sprite there with the spam from Samsky, so that could be absolutely crucial coming into this late. But Amarok getting picked off there. Feint had to put all their money on a drive push essentially, but suddenly getting picked off here. Samsky gets picked off, and it's just down to Kuna with the heals trying to walk in, do as much as possible. They're actually sweeping around point times 4, and they tie it up with 20 seconds
behind, and the flank was open as well. We're doing it to a golden cap here, but how the mid fights have been going so far, it's gonna be tough for Feint.
My god, 20 seconds left on the clock, and Feint just bring it back to go into the golden cap. Oh, that's gotta be heartbreaking for Crunch there. 20 seconds left from taking it to a third map, and suddenly there's not enough space on the right side, and suddenly all these Feint gamers players come swimming in, times 4 on the point, and just steal it away from them. As we're gonna go into a golden cap right now on process eventually.
Yeah, and they knew what they had to do as well. They just wanted those kills a little bit too badly and ignored the rest of the space to be able to be abused, and eventually came to fall to their own gimmicks here with maybe not quite a backup as much as it was just abusing the flank nicely there, but that's what they've been doing successfully as well so far, so tasting their own medicine now a little bit.
Yeah, currently looking at the logs right now. I don't know if you got it on stream yet, but immediately I see Nuthouse and Charlie, the spoils from top fragging there. 9k damage as well with Charlie, so having an absolute monster of a game, getting those crucial picks at times to go to get those rounds for Crunch, but just not enough to secure the win in general. And now forced into this golden cap situation, it's going to be an uphill from here for Crunch to try and take this to a third map.
Yeah, definitely. Just insane game by Charlie for what it's worth. What percentage of the heals did he get? 23, that's not bad. Delivering a lot of damage for that as well, so just really well done, but it just is one round away for them to just be able to continue playing. Same for Feint, one map away from the safe premiership dream here, and you know, that was pretty much the goal of the season. I don't know what Crunch, how realistic they thought getting here in the first place and winning was for them, but for Feint that was always a case of just winning in the first place, and it's getting harder and harder here.
Yeah, definitely so. It's interesting how that game panned out, actually, because there was a moment in time, it was like 15 minutes left, like Crunch were really struggling to push out of their last, and then I think Charlie got that 3k in the rollout area that we saw, and then suddenly it just clicks for Crunch. They started to really rally the troops, get a lot more aggression in. Suddenly we're winning a lot more of the fights, a lot more of the team pushes. They were getting more rounds. We saw them at 3-1 at some point. But then it sort of fizzled out after that, and suddenly Feint found these openings and managed to just bring it back to a golden cap.
Yeah, I'm still kind of impressed by just this initial really, really long stalemate now, and the one after it was 1 hour as well. Just, it was such a difference between the teams. Just Crunch having a really strong hold. True, they didn't have too great of an ability to push out of it, but they didn't let anything too dramatic happen to themselves. While Feint, just incredibly strong team that just 5-0'd them in 10 minutes on the first map, just had no clue how to deal with it as well.
Yeah, definitely so. So 12 gamers currently on the server right now. We're just waiting to get this golden cap side. I'm really excited, actually. I want to see how this pans out and to see if we're actually going to go to a third map in this Civ 1 final, which we wouldn't have really said at the start of this game. It had to be said, like, Crunch really struggling on Badlands, and they've just suddenly brought it back here. And they've got to try and get this golden cap and try and bring it to Cardinal, which is a wild card, it had to be said. None of these teams have won it in their regular season, and it could be a good chance for Crunch to pounce. And right now, this is it. We're going to go into this golden cap. Silence, I guess, and maybe timed out for that. So anyway.
Oh wait, I thought you wanted to take the mid fight. Never mind.
Oh, I was waiting for you. Anyway, coming into the mid fight right now, we're going to see Crunch taking the much more the regular route as well. I think we're going to see a lot more solo aggression, perhaps from Hugo and Charlie, trying to go Banzai perhaps on Seeds, perhaps, and try and get the kill onto him. So just generally wrapping around, trying to take the space that Feint doesn't have. And really passive background, no frags until yet, but Hugo might actually create it here. But she gets cleaned up there by Sorix, since Charlie late bomb into Seeds, but actually gets picked off there. And Nighthouse really deep as well. This is disastrous. 3 kills already for Feint Gaming off of that stack. And now Lef is in as well. Oh,
gets Seeds though.
Oh my god, really? How?
Yeah, he's taking him out of. Yeah, and gets the kill really, really late. The Sprite just escaping with his life. Has the scout escorting him out as well. So he will stay safe for now. Really, really clutch kill there by the Gamma man.
Yes, Sprite can't risk this. He has to go back this mode. Eventually does as well, but 4 players to get Seeds there. It might have been a better offer, I guess, if they managed to hit their shots a bit more. But right now, Crunch suddenly drawn back into the last hold. Feint Gaming with all the advantages. They're just going to wait for Seeds to respawn in the forward area. Sorik's going to get back into position as well with this team. But Crunch not trying to get them any space right now. They're trying to commit into the second cap. Try and set their players up. Trying to get the scouts in. Try and get this out generate. Got to be careful not to be too slow on this in case it might cue a Feint Gaming back cap. But not enough players position what I see. Managing to defend that second point really well as we're going to go into a choke stalemate, but Charlie picks off there by Ali.
Yeah, losing one here is unfortunate, but Feint is so aggressive on this midpoint, and Seeds will die for it. Spite even exchanging Medigun a bit over, maybe a little bit too early, will take a lot of damage for it, but Sorix is the only one pressuring him so far, as they're making sure that Dammit stays alive. Amarok with the late attempt gets through a little bit, second bomb by Samsky as well. Sprite is being really careful and has two great scouts to protect him now.
Also, full wipe for Crunch. This is a really decent chance to try and get the second point. Feint Gaming sort of breathing for that push there. They really staggered their players in. The Uber came up from Crunch, so probably just try, and a huge Uber ad as well on Crunch Esports as well, about 30% on their side. So they're going to wait for their players to regroup. Both soldiers and Demoman are just getting into position, trying to regroup into second right now. So Feint Gaming might trigger some sort of push into this area. Like we saw with Crunch earlier, it didn't really seem inclined to give Crunch the space. And actually Cypher from Samsky in the one trying to get a shot on the Sprite, and actually forces the out the Uber. And they haven't capped second yet. You need to cap the point, team.
Yeah, they're just so scared of the damage, and they already dropped 2 in all that time as well. That it's just really sketchy for them. They didn't want to take any risk, and it might just pan out even worse for them. They do get it. Now they don't have an Uber charge anymore. They just took way too much damage on entry there. Charlie dying super early as well. Just going around the corner on PC and dying instantly. It cost them numbers, cost them health, pressures them way too much. Feint able to take second back really safely here and have this advantage for mid now.
We've got Charlie Spy as well set up in choke right now, so probably waiting for the transition for Feint Gaming. A bit more inclined to go for lobby with Seed, so Charlie not in the optimal position to try and make it most effective for him to get a backstab. He might be inclined actually to get some back cap time and try and bring some Feint players back, which he's going to do. So it's going to probably draw back at least one scout perhaps, but I don't think Crunch in position for any sort of deny on this mid cap, so they might be tempted to just go straight for it. But Samsky eventually on second, going to try and get the kill to kill onto Charlie, so he isn't a threat. Eventually he does get that, so. But no, actually Crunch replied with push of their own. They actually denied this cap, and suddenly all the damage trying to come in here, but frags in favour of Feint Gaming. But suddenly the Uber pops out once again. Might be questionable for the future, perhaps, given the Uber ad. And actually, so close to capping mid as well. This is disastrous. They're so scattered.
Yeah, they wanted to have the big win play, but they dropped just too many players. Charlie dying before it even happened, Left dying just ever so slightly off the Uber, and now it's just paying back really badly for them. So X cleans them all up on the midpoint. They just banked it all on one back there and just didn't pan out in the end.
It's gonna be heartbreak, more heartbreak for Crunch once again. Like trying to commit to that back cap, and then suddenly the scouts come in behind, and then you get pincered out with Sprite getting killed there. And just 3 players up for the second defense. This is a really, really tough battle right now for Crunch to try and make this work in. But the respawns are going to come in. They might be inclined to try and maybe take more aggressive push like we saw earlier on second, but doesn't seem looking likely to try and cut.
I left the 2K with a drop onto Seeds. They didn't see it in the corner.
Oh my god! Sticky traps the big Demoman plays from left, and that could give an opening as well for Crunch Esports to come in. They're going to be a bit more passive. They definitely want to take time for Sprite to try and get to ensure his safety. And Ali getting the sticky trap kill onto left as well. So no, but Demoman for this push could be questionable coming into the later fight for this. And now Feint Gaming denying any sort of space from Crunch Esports, and just once again resetting onto this last defense, despite that drop and 2K from the sticky trap from left.
Yeah, they just didn't have the setup ready to push out quickly. They don't have Uber. They are lacking the Demoman as well after that, unfortunately, and it just wastes time right now for them. That brings Seed closer to Uber again as well. Sure, he still will have this at here, but they need to find success really quickly if they don't want to get pushed back into last quickly after that, push to second.
Yeah, Hugo has to make sure no one slips in through one as well, because if they commit to this and suddenly a Feint Gaming player is in the backlines, and actually Sorix I think is going to go for it. He's going to walk in through lobby. I don't think Hugo's in position, he doesn't see it yet. Eventually going to jump onto point, trying to get into Sorix, trying to take the fight as well. Actually gets killed off there, but eventually the scout from that house saving the day, but no cap on second from what I can see from Crunch, and actually getting forced off here. Oh, this could be disaster. Feint Gaming coming in the left side, swarming in, no space from Crunch from what I can see, all bunched up on this left side, trying to get left do as much damage as possible. We've got Amarok on the right side, eventually going to have to jump back for heals, and just generally trying to stagger these kills in. It's Kuna on the point, getting ×2. Ali trying to follow up with the sticky damage as well, gets launched up, and it's just straight left, and almost so close. He actually gets a kill. He gets 2 swords, but no, not enough. And then he got his medigun out in time. He had to charge, and in the most cruel way possible, Crunch was out, and it'll be Feint Gaming, your Division 1 ETF2L champions for Season 30.
Div 1 that is. Yeah, that was a game. After Badlands, we needed something like this. This was just incredible at times. Really, really back and forth, and both teams learning from mistakes as well, and eventually just ever so slightly Feint Gaming the ones edging it out.
Yes, very very close for Crunch to actually take that, but I think it was just the time they had a 2-round lead and suddenly Fate responded and they had started to lose players too much. Then the Golden Cap itself, just really scrappy fights on that last point as we saw there. But Fate Gaming will take that anyway. They'll take the W and the championship itself.
Yeah, and that is Feint Gaming for Premiership next season, assuming your team will be alive. And you never know. Some teams just kind of just don't continue, even though everybody keeps playing, and they did decent. But for now, all we know is that they will have the safe Premiership slot, and I believe we even see, we talked a little bit about Feint at LAN, and they're the winners here, so it's maybe quite a little bit more important. But but Crunch, as far as I heard at least, will also be going to LAN, not surprising with that many Brits on the team at least.
Yeah, I think it's a good motivational boost for Feint as well. Like, the Prem spot is surely going to drive the momentum into LAN as well. Like, you won Div 1, you got the Prem spot for next season anyway, regardless of what happens at LAN. So they'll be in a really good mood, I think, for the tournament itself. I'm going to look at these Golden Cap logs just really quick a bit more, despite how it was only about 6 minutes, I think. So from what I can see, you've got Sorix top fragging with 7 frags there, so nice to clean up from him. Both scouts actually from Feint Gaming doing a decent job, 7 and 6 frags between them both. Left, most of the damage coming in, 6 frags as well from him. And just generally more inclined towards the scouts and the demo man, really, to get the damage and the kills.
Yeah, just incredible game. Left it so much on this just final Golden Cap round for his team to try to keep them in it. Did the jump on mid, the bomb on, and the trap on second even. Just so much work from Wonderwoman here trying to save it all, and just Stroix had his shining moments behind lines and on the flank as well, just cleaning them up after this really weird back cap-ish scenario there earlier. Just small DM moments just shine through in the end for Feint Gaming as well on the last push. Is not just in Golden Cap time, but also in regular time. Just had struggles creating something out of the stalemate, and it just ended up eventually coming to DM fights that they won out in the end.
Yeah, so not much else I could point out from the logs there, so it might be worth jumping straight into interviews, I think.
Yeah, we're getting people in here. I see Charlie, I see Connor, I see Lav, I see Samsky, and Sprite. So a little bit of everything.
It's cut
the whole gang.
boy.
So yeah, congratulations once again for Feint for winning Division 1. They'll be in Premiership for Season 31. And commiserations, of course, for Crunch / Quaint / Hurricane / Rooney.
Why isn't Crouch playing? Oh no, we were called Peter Crouch. What were we called?
Peter Crouch.
Yeah, confusing name history there, but interesting game to say the least. Feint wins in the end, will get their slot in Premiership for next season, and despite what I've been promised that it's gonna be a completely terrible series, it was only one bad map and one really good one in the end. So hey, we got our money's worth here.
Not a fan of Badlands.
I think we could tell.
Badlands is just not our map.
Well, I mean, for Feint, similarly, it just didn't start out all too confident. Despite the earliest lead, they just couldn't deal with the stalemate too much. Feint players, what is the verdict on process here?
On process.
I had a massive problem. Well, I personally had a massive problem with killing Charlie and Hugo. I just couldn't hit them. And so Suitors were getting killed far too easily.
Can you move Hugo in, by the way? He is a bit jealous that he's not in the channel.
There we go.
Thank you so much.
So I guess we've got a few questions going. So I'll just start with Feint in general. So I guess Kunu and Scamp seeing that. So going into LAN, how do you think this win helps you in terms of your commitment? Because obviously a guaranteed prem spot next season must be beneficial.
I mean, no disregard, but we weren't expecting to play this official. Last night, these guys played their semi-final, and then messaged us saying, "Hey, do you want to play the final tomorrow?" And we weren't expecting until playing next week. So, I guess I don't know. We hadn't really done the map bans and stuff until today, and we hadn't been scrimming. We haven't scrimmed process in a while actually. So I don't know. It was a bit rushed, but I don't know. It doesn't really affect LAN, I guess. Our aim for LAN is still the same as it was before, which is to challenge the top 4, I guess. Yeah, top 5, top 4. But I don't know. We're just gonna take it how it goes and see how we play. So yeah.
Right. Next question for Charlie. There was a okay. I'll just do a flashpoint. There was a moment on process. Rest of Feint Gaming were falling back in through rollout. One rocket killed 3 players.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
What happened there? Because it seemed after that moment specifically, Crunch seemed to turn it around something and won a lot more of the pushes after that.
Well, I got my parents to turn off the stream. They were very interested that I was playing. So they wanted to watch. I told them to stop streaming it, and my ping went down. I started hitting rocket. And then I was a lot more confident, so I started speaking a bit better, and we took fights and we won them. So yeah, just started playing our game. I think when I was playing better.
Do you think we would have had a chance on the Cardinal if it went to a third map? Because there was
No.
20 seconds between.
Yeah, we're really good
You
at
just
Cardinal
don't
as a team.
understand.
Cardinal was a mystery. I think we'd lose faster than we did on Badlands if it went to Cardinal. But
Because it's got a longer roll.
no, there you go. Never mind. But no, we wouldn't have beaten them on that map. Process we've been strong on recently, so decided that was our best bet, and we should have won. But through.
Feels bad, man. So, DuMmTm, any more questions from you?
Actually, just we talked about Feint at LAN. I heard Crunch is going to LAN. I'm not sure. I haven't heard from many of you.
Yeah.
You will be there. Looking forward to
Slightly
some more
modified
process.
roster.
Any info on that?
Yeah, we've got our 6, but it's not the same 6. Not House and
who will
Left
be
won't be going.
Ah,
So
okay.
we've got Classy, who merged for us a few times in scrims and I think an official. He's flank scout, and then Jimbot is playing demo. But other than that, it's the same.
Well, that's good to know. See you at LAN then, everybody. And
Yeah.
yeah, unless anybody has any last words, we're just gonna push it over to shoutouts, starting at the top of the alphabet with Charlie.
Shout out to Catbokar. Really helps us through that game emotionally. Tried some strats, none of them worked. But, thanks for the effort, Cat.
Kuno.
Shout out to both my teams. Shout out to Polygon and shout out to Babs.
Hugo.
Shout out to Jamal, 69 Rashid, and Aringo.
Left.
Shout out to Luigi's Pizza.
Samsky.
Shout out to Fan Gaming, Hobbin, and to Ams, who's currently distracting Ali at Ali's house.
Sprite.
Hang on.
Shout out to Charlie's dad. Shout
I'll
out to
let
my
him know.
team. Shout out to Feint. Even though it's kind of one-sided, we had a pretty solid season overall.
Alright.
Shout out to the Erecting the Putis guys, and yeah, that's it.
Alright. For me, also shout out to Catwalker because I heard he was supposed to play until this game got streamed, and so it's apparently my fault that he didn't play today, so my bad. And yeah, with that, we'll see you guys in the next coming weeks here with
Thank
the
you to the
ETF2L Nation
casters
stuff.
and producers as well.
Oh, hey, that's me.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll see you coming forward with the Nations
Jen.
Cup on TFTV and Quitscast, and with that, we out.